Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your host Sami Higab, and before I go to sleep, I found this video from Summary Egypt, one of my favorite channels. Thank you, Brother Muhammad, the founder and presenter of the YouTube channel. And I was actually interested in this topic. It says خيانة المخابرات المصرية, which the treason or the betrayal of the Egyptian intelligence, and it's based around the current rumor that's going around, or the kind of the, the, the talk that's going at the moment, whether Egyptian intelligence informed Israel before Hamas assault on the settlers and neighboring cities or on the border of Gaza. So did they receive intel from the Egyptian authorities and intelligence? And if so, why didn't they act on it? What was why did they neglect the evidence and so on? So we'll find out, because I heard that from a number of Israeli individuals that appeared on the mainstream media, and they've claimed that Netanyahu and the Netanyahu government basically was silent, and they turned the other way even though they received intel, and they didn't act on it. And of course Netanyahu came on later and denied it, and so on. So and he said we didn't get any this was kind of a surprise attack, we didn't have any information, we didn't have any intel on it, and so on. And so he completely denied it, which is understandable. If you catch a criminal in the act and you accuse him of a crime, of course the first thing that he will do is deny it. So I don't know the facts. I don't know whether he did receive intel from the Egyptian intelligence, and if so, why did they give him that intel? Why are they spying and betraying the Palestinians in this case? So I don't understand. So well, maybe Brother Muhammad from Summary Egypt can bring some light to this topic. Maybe he has more information than I do. I also looked at some of the newspapers, the mainstream media of this surrounding this claim, and it does kind of tie in with this conspiracy that potentially Netanyahu might have orchestrated this whole thing of a false flag operation in order to unite all the parties to create this unified government and have a unified assault on Gaza and completely demolish Gaza or turn it into rubble and kill everyone, and eventually move near the border of Egypt, and then eventually start an attack on Egypt later on to expand the territory of Israel and fulfill that dream of a greater Israel and so on. So it's something that's not new to them. They like to always expand their territory, invade other countries, occupy other countries, just like they did with Palestine. They created their country on top of someone else's country, and they would potentially do the same if no one tells them stop or stands in their way. They will just keep expanding their territories. So this is completely understandable. Their objective and their target is to do that, and so this is an unfortunate case, but that's their agenda, and this is what's going on right now. So potentially it might have been that case. I mean, Netanyahu he had cases of corruption in Israel. The civilians in Israel were rising up and protesting against Netanyahu and his far-right government. They weren't pleased about the way the country's going, and so this might have been a way to distract everyone, create something like a 9/11, like they've mentioned in some articles and in the mainstream media, and as a decoy, and eventually unite everyone into going into war with another nation or invading and a far superior militarily group of people, and punish everyone for that, murder innocent individuals and so on. So yeah, maybe this is his game. I don't know the facts yet. I mean, time will tell exactly what's happening, and yeah, if this was some sort of a like a false flag operation, and then they can then start a preemptive strike on Egypt later on. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see how it plays out, inshallah. I don't want to keep going too long, so we just watch the video because I am starting to get a bit tired now, and it's past my bedtime, and I've got a bit of work to do tomorrow. So we'll watch what Muhammad has for us from Summary Egypt, and we'll comment. Unfortunately, the only thing is it's going to be in Arabic, so if you don't know Arabic, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. The odd time you might have English subtitles or an article in English or something like that, so that might help a bit, but I'll try my best to summarize at the end and give my opinion, or at least give a conclusion of what he said, and then just give my own conclusion at the end as well, or my opinion on it. And then maybe in between I'll interject as well. I haven't quite watched all the video, I watched bits of it, and I might interject and just add my own comments in between as well, which will be in English, inshallah, God willing. So yeah, enjoy.
السلام عليكم، ازيكم؟ اخبار جديده واخبار مهمه واخبار هتفاجئك بشكل كبير. الحقيقه في بعض الاسئله كده، وزي ما اتفقنا ان في بدايه اي حرب بتبقى الاسئله اكتر من الاجوبه بكتير، بس في حبه اسئله منطقيه لازم نسالها. اول حاجه هي حماس اسرت كام واحد من الصهاينه لحد دلوقتي؟ ده مهم جدا. تاني حاجه، هل في اخبار مفاجاه بالنسبه لحضرتك؟ في، بس اقوى خبر حضرتك لازم تعرفه ان اسرائيل فرضت حصار شامل وكامل على قطاع غزه. اكتر من كده، ان بيقولوا للفلسطينيين يخرجوا خارج قطاع غزه. السؤال، الفلسطينيين لو خرجوا خارج قطاع غزه اللي هم اصلا عددهم 2 مليون و200 الف، هيروحوا فين؟ ده سؤال هام جدا. والحقيقه ان مش ده فقط اخر سؤال، انما اخر سؤال، هل خانت المخابرات المصريه حماس وابلغت عن موعد الهجوم قبل قيام حماس بشن الهجوم بتاعها لاسرائيل؟ لان النهارده وكاله انباء اسمها اسوشيتد بريس فجرت خبر من العيار الثقيل، وقالت لك المصريين حذروا الصهاينه قبل هجوم حماس، وكان تحذيرهم واضح جدا. اسئله كتيره، ولما تجاوب عليها هتفرق معايا كتير قوي، بس عشان اقول لك عليها واكشف لك التفاصيل دي لازم اقول لك القصه من الاول.
ونقلت وكالة اسوشيتد بريس للأنباء عن مسؤول كبير في المخابرات المصرية أن إسرائيل تجاهلت التحذيرات بشأن ما كان على وشك الحدوث في غزة، مضيفا أنه رغم الرسالة التي نقلتها ركزت إسرائيل على الوضع في الضفة الغربية
قبل أخش
So I'm just gonna skip just a few seconds or so, just so I can get to the point instead of the adverts, and yeah, we'll carry on from there.
حضرتك واول مره هتسمعوا فيما يخص حرب حماس والكيان الصهيوني. الحقيقه الموضوع كله هيبتدي من عده اخبار كده هتفاجئك بشكل كبير. اول خبر بيقول ايه؟ هو كام واحد من مقاومي حماس او من جنود حماس دخلوا داخل اسرائيل واجتازوا السياج الحدودي وقاموا بالعمليه دي، لان العمليه دي ضخمه جدا. يعني كام واحد فلسطيني شارك في الموضوع؟ الحقيقه عندي ليك مفاجاه، ان عدد المقاومين الخاصين بحماس اللي قاموا بتنفيذ العمليه اللي اسمها طوفان الاقصى هو 1000 مقاتل، او ما يقارب 1000 مقاتل. عدد ضخم جدا، يمثل فشل استخباراتي ذريع، يمثل فشل عسكري ذريع. تاني هقعد اقولها، ده مش فشل استخباراتي خاص بالموساد الاسرائيلي او اي جهاز استخباراتي اسرائيلي فقط، ده فشل استخباراتي يخص المخابرات الامريكيه والغربيه كلها، اللي كانت لو عرفت اي حاجه فيما يخص ال1000 مقاتل دول كانت ابلغت اسرائيل على طول وخلتها على استعداد. طيب ال1000 مقاتل دول دخلوا من كام نقطه؟ دخلوا من 80 نقطه داخل السياج الحدودي، يعني عملوا 80 خرق للسياج الحدودي. دول اللي جم بريا، لسه بقى اللي جم من الجو، اللي جم من البحر، الكلام ده كله. سؤال، هل في مفاجأة في اختراق مقاومي حماس أو مقاتلي حماس للسياج الحدودي؟ الحقيقة لو جيت تبص هتلاقي ان بعض المدن في اسرائيل او بعض المستوطنات بعيد عن البحر، بعيد عن الجو، وفجاه كده لقيت فيها مقاتلين من حماس. ازاي؟ هي المفاجاه الكبرى اللي فجرتها نيويورك تايمز ومحدش واقف عندها، ولا يوتيوبر وقف عندها، ولا وكاله انباء وقفت عندها. انت عارف اصلا الفلسطينيين تسللوا لداخل المستوطنات الاسرائيليه دي مش يوميها، دول قاعدين بقالهم فتره. بيتم اختراق المستوطنات الاسرائيليه دي من قبل مقاومي ومقاتلي حماس بقالهم فتره. المقاله مكتوبه they were there، يعني هم كانوا اصلا موجودين في المستوطنات. فلما قامت عمليه طوفان الاقصى هم قاموا من الداخل. فعمليه الاختراق للمستوطنات الاسرائيليه ما حصلتش في يوميها، حصلت قبليها كمان، وكانت زي ما تقول كده الخلايا النائمه دخلوا المستوطنات دي، تسللوا اليها وفضلوا ساكتين ما بيعملوش اي حاجه لحد موعد طوفان الاقصى ابتدوا ينزلوا في الشوارع. مش بس كده، عندي ليك خبر مهم جدا. حضرتك عارف ان في بعض الفلسطينيين وبعض المرشدين اللي هم عرب 48 كانوا بيرشدوا مقاومي حماس على اماكن تمركز الشرطه، على اماكن تواجد الشرطه الاسرائيليه عشان مقاومي حماس يقتلوهم. خلي بالك سلاح الشرطه اللي كان مع الشرطه الاسرائيليه في مواجهه المقاومين الفلسطينيين لا يقارن. لاول مره مقاتلي ومقاومي حماس يكونوا اكثر عددا واكثر عده من شرطه اسرائيليه. عشان كده اكتر اصابات كانت دقيقه جدا بين المدنيين او بين المستوطنين وجهاز الشرطه كانت في المدن اللي غير متوقع ان يصل اليها مقاومي حماس. فدي نقطه هامه للغايه. سؤال: كام واحد حماس ماسكاه او عند حماس او الفلسطينيين حاطين ايديهم عليه؟ الحقيقه العدد هيفاجئك. النهارده صحيفه اسمها بوليتيكو قالت لك عدد الاسرى الاسرائيليين لدى حماس او لدى فلسطينيين هو 130 اسير. عدد ضخم جدا جدا. هرجعك المعلومه: جلعاد شليط حماس كانت ماسكاه اتفاوضت عليه مقابل 1000 فلسطيني، اسرائيل افرجت عنهم مقابل جلعاد شليط. انت بتتكلم عن 130. اسرائيل لازم تفرج عن كام واحد فلسطيني داخل سجونها عشان تاخد ال 130 دول. وخلي بالك لاول مره يكون ضمنهم مجندين ومجندات وظباط. مين قال ان الخبر ده حقيقي؟ الحقيقه بوليتيكو بتقول لك كالاتي، بتقول لك ان امبارح المتحدث الرسمي باسم حماس طلع قال ان هم عندهم او تحت ايديهم عشرات الاسرى الصهاينه، وقال ممكن يكون اكتر من عشرات. لو كلام المتحدث العسكري الرسمي ان هو قال اكتر من عشرات فهو يقصد 100. ده اللي بتحلله بوليتيكو، بتقول لك هو تحت ايده 100. صح؟
تحدثنا اليوم عن عشرات الاسرى من ضباطكم وجنودكم، ونريد ان نطمئنكم بان اعداد اسراكم اكثر من ذلك باضعاف مضاعفه، وهم متواجدون في كل المحاور والمناطق في قطاع غزه، فلا تخطئ التقدير، وعليك الانتظار لعد جنودك جيدا.
فبوليتيكو بتقول لك لو حركه حماس ومتحدث باسم حركه حماس يقصد ان تحت ايده 100 رهينه او 100 اسير، معنى كده ان ضم عليهم التصريح الرسمي اللي طلع من حركه الجهاد الاسلامي اللي قالت لك تحت ايدينا 30 اسير، يبقى كده العدد 130 اسير لدى الفلسطينيين. العدد ده ما اتفقتش فيه نيويورك تايمز. نيويورك تايمز بتقول لك على فكره العدد 150 اسير لدى الفلسطينيين، كده او كده. يعني لو مشينا مع ده او مشينا مع ده انت بتتكلم في رقم اعجازي. اول مره الفلسطينيين يمسكوا الرقم ده من الاسرى ويبقى تحت ايديهم، رقم قوي جدا. على فكره اسرائيل لو مات لها جندي او اتأثر جندي بتقلب الدنيا. كان 150 واحد، رقم رهيب. خبر تاني برضه انا هفاجئك بحبه اخبار كده لازم تعرفها. لازم تعرف ان وقت حصول الهجوم ده لازم حضرتك تعرف ان كان في 2 نواب امريكان داخل اسرائيل، الاثنين استخبوا وقت الهجوم. مين النواب دول؟ نائب اسمه كوري بوكر، ده ديمقراطي من ولايه نيو جيرسي، ونائب تاني ديمقراطي اسمه دان جولدمان. الاثنين دول فوجئوا ان هم كانوا موجودين في اسرائيل عشان يقضوا الويكند ويتكلموا مع مسؤولين صهاينه، فوجئوا بهجوم حماس وقعدوا يستخبوا. وعلى فكره هوريك فيديو لنائب فيهم عمال يتكلم ويقول ازاي هو فوجئ من هجوم حماس وهو بيعمل جوجينج او بيجري زي ما حضرتك هتشوف كده بالظبط.
In Israel. About this time yesterday, I was jogging behind me in the old city when I got a urgent call from my chief of staff telling me to get back to the hotel as quickly as I could, that Israel was under attack. There were thousands of rockets being launched. When I got back to the hotel, I joined others in the bomb shelter or the stairwells of the hotel. Frightened faces. There were children and elderly families, many Americans. There was a sense of fear and worry, and a knowledge to many of us that there were horrific things going on around the country at that time.
خبر يفاجئك اكتر مين قال لحضرتك ان ما كانش فيه ضحايا امريكان؟ يعني انا جيت قلت لحضرتك وفجرت مفاجاه كبيره جدا ان في بعض الفرنسيين مفقودين في اسرائيل، وفقا للسفاره الفرنسيه في اسرائيل في عدد من الفرنسيين مفقودين. مش بس كده، في عدد من الجنسيه من نيبال اتقتلوا داخل اسرائيل. بس لازم تقف قدام جنسيه مهمه جدا، الجنسيه الامريكيه. عدد قتلى الامريكان داخل اسرائيل وقت هجوم طوفان الاقصى هم 9 قتلى، رقم مفزع. انت ما قتلتش صهاينه، انت قتلت امريكان كمان. طيب فده رقم مفزع جدا بالنسبه لوزاره الخارجيه الامريكيه، بالنسبه لرد الفعل الامريكي. لازم تقف قدام الارقام دي. خبر هام جدا برضه حضرتك لازم تعرفه، النهارده طلع الصهاينه بيقولوا ان هم هيفرضوا حصار على قطاع غزه. بس انا مش عاوز اخش في الخبر ده غير لما افجر لك خبر تاني اهم، وهو ايه؟ وهو ان الاتحاد الاوروبي هيوقف كل المساعدات للفلسطينيين. وانا هنا مش بكلم حضرتك على مساعدات لقطاع غزه، انا بكلم حضرتك مساعدات للسلطه الفلسطينيه. حتى الفلسطينيين اللي داخل الضفه الغربيه الاتحاد الاوروبي هيقطع عنهم المعونه. ازاي؟ هي اول دوله هي النمسا قالت على فكره كل المساعدات اللي راح للفلسطينيين هنوقفها، لان اللي حصل من حماس ده ارهاب، واحنا شايفين ده ارهاب. مش بس كده، المانيا هي كمان قالت انها هتراجع المعونه اللي راحه للسلطه الفلسطينيه والفلسطينيين، وقالت الفلسطينيين بيعملوا ارهاب ضد اسرائيل. لحد ما طلع المفوض او المفوضيه الخاصه بالاتحاد الاوروبي وقالت انها هتراجع كل المساعدات للفلسطينيين. الاخبار في تسلسلها خطيره جدا، بس الاخطر هو ان طلع وزير الدفاع الصهيوني وقال احنا هنفرض حصار قوي جدا على قطاع غزه. مفيش لا ميه ولا اكل ولا وقود ولا كهرباء، هنقطع كل حاجه، هنفرض حصار غير طبيعي. ليه؟ لان احنا بنتعامل مع حيوانات او بنقاتل حيوانات مش بني ادمين. هو قال كده زي ما حضرتك هتسمع منه كده بالظبط.
מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם.
فخد بالك ان احنا دلوقتي في الايام الصعبه على الفلسطينيين. فلسطين قامت بقدرتها انها ضربت اسرائيل، بس دلوقتي احنا قدام رد الفعل الصهيوني ورد الفعل الامريكي. امريكا هي اللي بتتحرك مش اسرائيل، بس عشان تبقى فاهم يعني. والحقيقه ان كلام وزير الدفاع الصهيوني ده غريب شويه. هو منين جاله الجرأه ان هو يفرض حصار؟ ده حاجه. تاني حاجه، هو ليه ما اتحركش وغزا قطاع غزه؟ يعني انت دلوقتي بتتكلم ان اسرائيل حشدت 300,000 جندي، 300,000 جندي تقريبا كده 3/4 الجيش الصهيوني تم حشده. انت بتتكلم الجيش الصهيوني ده مكون من 500,000، 300,000 دلوقتي محشودين على قطاع غزه. خلاص؟ ليه اسرائيل ما هجمتش على طول قطاع غزه وعملت العمليه البريه؟ ما ينفعش. ليه؟ بيصفوا الجيوب الاول، واي حد متسلل داخل اي مستوطنه بيقتلوه. فبيقوموا بتصفيه الجيوب والمستوطنات اللي فيها مقاومين فلسطينيين، وبعد كده هيقوموا بالغزو. طيب ليه بيعملوا كده؟ تاني ترجع لاول خبر انا قلته لحضرتك ان كان في تسلل من عناصر فلسطينيه قبل عمليه طوفان الاقصى، قبلها بعده ايام كانوا مستخبيين داخل المستوطنات. هم مش عاوزين يتبختوا تاني، يعني الصهاينه مش عاوزين ياخدوا على قفاهم تاني، فبيقول لك احنا نصفي الاول ونشوف بقى مين المتآمرين، من مقاتلي حماس، نصفي كل دول لان ما زالوا بيشتبكوا لحد دلوقتي، وبعد كده هيقوموا بعمليه الغزو الكبير او الاجتياح لقطاع غزه. مين قال ان اسرائيل هتعمل اجتياح بري لقطاع غزه؟ مش شايف الموضوع ده بعيد شويه؟ الحقيقه اللي قال كده هي تحرك حامله الطائرات الامريكيه USS جيرالد فورد. قدوم حامله الطائرات الامريكيه لاسرائيل هو ضوء اخضر من امريكا لاسرائيل للتحرك بريا داخل قطاع غزه، وامريكا اللي بتحميها. اضحك عليك؟ ده ضوء اخضر واضح جدا وجالي جدا لاسرائيل انها تتحرك بعمليه بريه داخل قطاع غزه. وايه؟ الضوء الاخضر ده مش متاخد في السر، ده على العلن. وخد بالك ان وزير الخارجيه الامريكي كلم وزير الخارجيه السعودي، كلم وزير الخارجيه المصري، كلم وزير الخارجيه الاماراتي عشان يكلمهم في موضوع اللي بيحصل في قطاع غزه، اظهار كده تمهيدا لمجزره هتقوم بيها اسرائيل. وخلي بالك احنا بنتكلم ان اسرائيل دلوقتي بتعمل تمهيد نيراني انها بتزيل احياء من قطاع غزه. يعني اسرائيل بتقصف قطاع غزه عن مشاع، بتقصف بمجازر كميه الفلسطينيين اللي بيتم قتلهم كل دقيقه غير طبيعي. بس طبعا مش هتسمع في الاعلام الغربي عن عدد ضحايا الفلسطينيين، هتسمع فقط عن عدد القتلى الصهاينه والاسرى الصهاينه والكلام ده كله. مش هتسمع ولا حاجه عن الفلسطينيين خالص خالص. سؤال، وهو السؤال الاهم، النهارده طلعت وكاله انباء اسمها اسوشيتد بريس وقالت لك على فكره وفقا لمصدر داخل مصر، مصدر رفيع المستوى، طلع قال لاسوشيتد بريس على فكره احنا حذرنا الصهاينه وقلنا لهم خلي بالكم بلاش تستقلوا بحماس. الوضع مع حماس هينفجر، وهينفجر قريبا جدا، وهيكون اكبر بكتير ما انتم متخيلين. الحقيقه اول ما الخبر ده نزل في اسوشيتد بريس هتقول لك الدنيا اتقلبت على المخابرات المصريه، لان المصدر ده داخل المخابرات المصريه. فكل الناس طلع ترند على فكره ان المخابرات المصريه خاينه، ان المخابرات المصريه عميله، المصريين بيخونوا الفلسطينيين. طيب خليني بس اشرح الموضوع بشكل مبسط كده. اولا خلي بالك المسؤول عن المفاوضات بين الفلسطينيين والاسرائيليين هو المصريين، وخلي بالك ان المصدر بيقول احنا حذرنا اسرائيل ان الوضع مع حماس هينفجر. فالراجل لا اداهم ميعاد ولا قال لهم هينفجر ازاي ولا اي حاجه. طب هو بيقول لهم اصلا هينفجر ليه؟ لان مصر بتتكلم باسم فلسطين وباسم حماس. لا امريكا ينفع تتفاوض مع حماس ولا اسرائيل ينفع تتفاوض مع حماس، اللي بتفاوض وبيتكلم باسم حماس وهي المخابرات المصريه. فبيحذروا الاسرائيليين بيقولوا لهم انتم مركزين مع الضفه الغربيه والسلطه الفلسطينيه وناسيين حماس، واوعوا تستهينوا بحماس. حماس لا يجب الاستهانه بيها. معنى كده ان المخابرات المصريه في تقييمها للموقف حذرت اسرائيل وقالت لها خلي بالك بلاش الاستهانه بحماس، حماس ممكن تفجر فيكي. والظاهر كده ان المخابرات المصريه كانت مدركه تماما ان حجم الكارثه كبير. هتيجي تقول لي على فكره انا مش متفق معاك، المخابرات المصريه عميله وخاينه، لان خلي بالك التحذير ده حتى لو مش واضح هي خيانه. هرجع اقول لك لو انت مش مصدقني ولا مصدق تحليلي، مكتب رئيس الوزراء الصهيوني نفسه طلع قال لك مفيش الكلام ده. ثانيه واحده، اسرائيل نفسها بتقول لك ما حصلش اللي اتقال في اسوشيتد بريس، لا جالنا تحذير ولا عرفنا حاجه ولا اي حد حذرنا. خلاص.
نفى مكتب رئيس الوزراء الإسرائيلي تقريرا نشرته صحيفة ديعوت أحرنوت بأن وزير المخابرات المصري قد اتصل برئيس الوزراء قبل 10 أيام من الهجوم المفاجئ الذي شنته حماس، وحذره من شيء غير عادي من اتجاه غزة. ونقلت وكالة اسوشيتد بريس للأنباء عن مسؤول كبير في المخابرات المصرية أن إسرائيل تجاهلت التحذيرات بشأن ما كان على وشك الحدوث في غزة، مضيفا أنه رغم الرسالة التي نقلتها ركزت إسرائيل على الوضع في الضفة الغربية وقللت من أهمية التهديد القادم من غزة.
هديت كده يا باشا، وضحت الرؤية بالنسبة لحضرتك. لا مخابرات المصرية عميلة ولا خاينة ولا أي حاجة. ولو إسرائيل كانت سمعت فقط إن في أي تحذير جاي لها من قطاع غزة كانت هتتحرك، فما حصلش. والصهاينة مش هبل، يعني ما تحاولش تقنعني ان اسرائيل هتسمع ان حماس هتتحرك وهي كمان مش هتتحرك خالص. وخد بالك ان القصور الاستخباراتي الاسرائيلي داخل قطاع غزة ناجم من حاجة بسيطة جدا، ان اسرائيل انسحبت من قطاع غزة في 2005، وقدرة اسرائيل على التصنت على قطاع غزة نابعة من التكنولوجيا ومن الخونة داخل قطاع غزة، ما ادى ان الصورة غير مكتملة لدى المخابرات الاسرائيلية، لان هم اعتقدوا فقط ان هم باعتمادهم على جواسيس او خونة فلسطينيين بيتعاملوا مع اسرائيل كده يبقى هم شايفين كل حاجة. واللي اعطى الانطباع ده للاسرائيليين ان هم قدروا ان هم يقتلوا كذا قائد من حماس، فقال لك احنا كده ماسكين كل حاجة. انما بعد 2021 تم الكشف ان اسرائيل مش ماسكة حاجة، وان الصورة مش مكتملة، وان حماس قدرتها اكبر بكتير من اسرائيل مدركاه. خلاص، لان اسرائيل ملهاش موطئ قدم داخل غزة خالص. وان حماس قدرت انها تستوعب كل التكنولوجيا الصهيونية في التجسس عليها، وقدرت انها تتعاون مع الخونة الاسرائيليين دول عشان تديهم معلومات مضللة وتوحي بعملية خداع استراتيجي انها مش هتقوم بحرب، وفجأة دفعت ب1000 مقاتل على حدود اسرائيل او داخل العمق الاسرائيلي. على فكرة اسرائيل بتقول لك عملية طوفان الاقصى دي هي 9/11 بالنسبة لاسرائيل. يعني ايه 9/11؟ يعني حضرتك عارف 11 سبتمبر في امريكا؟ الصهاينة عشان يوضحوا حجم المأساة اللي بيتعرضوا لها للاعلام الغربي على طول بيقول لك ده 9/11 بتاعنا او ده 11 سبتمبر بتاعنا. زي ما وقع برجين في امريكا، احنا وقع عندنا عدد كبير جدا من القتلى والضحايا، فدي حاجه لازم تقف عندها.
By far the worst day in Israeli history. Never before have so many Israelis been killed by one single thing, let alone enemy activity on one day. And if you're Americans and want to compare this to something in American history, then this could be a 9/11 and a Pearl Harbor wrapped into one.
أخيرا وليس أخيرا الموضوع المهم. خد بالك من نقطة قوية جدا. دلوقتي إسرائيل بتقول لك احنا قافلين على قطاع غزة، احنا استعدنا كل المستوطنات اللي فيها مشكلة على قطاع غزة وقاطعين عنهم مية ونور وكل حاجة، وبيقولوا للفلسطينيين خرجوا بره قطاع غزة. يروحوا فين؟ الفلسطينيين لو خرجوا بره قطاع غزة يروحوا فين؟ يا جماعة اسرائيل بتزق الفلسطينيين على سيناء. ما انت ما تقنعنيش ان هو هيروح على الاردن، ده هيروح على سيناء. على فكره غزه على حدود سيناء، على حدود رفح المصريه. خلاص غزه هتطلع على رفح المصريه. طيب اقول لحضرتك سيناريو. اول حد اقترح ان الفلسطينيين يستوطنوا في سيناء هو كانت حمله الانتخابيه لمرشح اسمه جون كيري. على فكره جون كيري ده كان نازل في انتخابات الرئاسيه وكان عاوز يبقى رئيس امريكا والكلام ده كله. الراجل ده كان جاي في زياره لمصر ايام محمد مرسي ما كان موجود، وارجع بس راجع معايا المعلومات دي لان المعلومات اللي بقولها لك دي موثوق فيها جدا. جه لمحمد مرسي واقترح من مصر، يعني هو كان طلع الحمله دي من مصر، قال لك ايه رايكم احنا نخلي الفلسطينيين موجودين في غزه دول يجوا سيناء، يقعدوا في سيناء، ماشي؟ مقابل ان احنا نسقط كل الديون المصريه خالص، من الاتحاد الاوروبي، من اي حته. اي حد عنده ديون لمصر او مصر مديونه له يعني يسقط الديون دي كلها، مقابل ان الفلسطينيين يروحوا مصر. طب خد بالك من كذا حاجه. اولا لو الفلسطينيين سابوا قطاع غزه يبقى انت قضيت على القضيه الفلسطينيه. يا باشا ده انت عندك فلسطينيين مش عارفين يرجعوا ارضهم من زمان قوي، من زمان قوي. دلوقتي هتطلع قطاع غزه اللي هو 2 مليون و200 الف بني ادم هتروح تسكنهم في سيناء، هتيجي تقول لي على فكره مفيش الكلام ده وانت بتفهم غلط وبلاش التوقعات الغريبه جدا. حاجه اقول لحضرتك ان اصلا نتنياهو النهارده طالع يقول ايه؟ طالع يقول لك اللي هيحصل في قطاع غزه هيغير الشرق الاوسط. الراجل عاوز يقضي على القضيه الفلسطينيه اصلا، عاوز يطرد سكان قطاع غزه يوديهم سيناء.
رئيس الوزراء الإسرائيلي بنيامين نتنياهو الذي قال فيها أنه رد إسرائيل على هجوم حماس سيغير الشرق الأوسط،
والدليل على كده ان هو بيشيل احياء كامله. طيب لازم تعرف ان الفلسطينيين لو راحوا سيناء ده هيبقى استيطان زي الاسرائيليين ما عملوه مع الفلسطينيين، لان الفلسطينيين هيجوا وطبعا منظمات حقوق الانسان هتضغط على الحكومه المصريه، انت بتعمل ايه مع الفلسطينيين؟ سيب الفلسطينيين ما تجيش ناحيتهم. انا بتخيل سيناريو على فكره ما حصلش، انا بتخيل سيناريو وهيبتدوا يدافعوا ويدوا شرعيه للفلسطينيين داخل سيناء، مش عشان خاطر الفلسطينيين، عشان خاطر ان هم يحلوا قضيه الفلسطينيه وخلاص ما يبقاش في حاجه اسمها فلسطين اصلا. فلسطين اصلا خارج غزه، مفيش حاجه اسمها فلسطينيين اصلا موجوده. والناس اللي داخل الضفه الغربيه دي يا عم واحده واحده هناخد منهم اراضيهم ونطردهم بره هم كمان. مفيش حاجه اسمها فلسطين. خلاص خد بالك من المؤامره، لان نتنياهو بيقول لك المصريين ما حذروناش. المصريين وانا اللي بقول لك المصريين لسه قاتلين 2 سياح عندهم واصابوا 3. اسرائيل منع السياحه لمصر وبتسحب كل الافواج السياحيه بتاعتها وبتلغي كل الحجوزات في شرم الشيخ والغردقه والكلام ده كله، بيلغوا الحجوزات الصهيونيه كلها. خلاص فواضح جدا من نفي نتنياهو ان المخابرات المصريه ما حذرتوش. مش دفاعا عن المخابرات المصريه، بس هو الراجل طلع يقول لك ما حذروناش وقتلوا 2 صهاينه عندهم. خلاص يشيلوا بقى فلسطين كمان. احنا بنعشق الفلسطينيين، الفلسطينيين اخواتنا بس مش على حساب ارضهم، ومش هنقبل ان الاراضي الفلسطينيه تضيع منهم، لان خلي بالك اللي ادى للمشهد اللي احنا فيه ده كله حرب اكتوبر والضحايا المصريين من الجنود والجيش المصري عشان يحلوا القضيه الفلسطينيه، لان بدون حرب اكتوبر ما كانش في حاجه اسمها قضيه فلسطينيه. خلي بالكم السيناريو ده. اسرائيل دلوقتي بتزق اهالي قطاع غزه على سيناء. لو انت مش فاهم كده لا افهم، انا بقول لك اهو كل حاجه بتقول اطلعوا على سيناء، مفيش غزه، هيبيدوا غزه. طيب هل الفلسطينيين هيجوا لوحدهم؟ لا، بالمقاتلين نفذوا العمليات دي كلها هيتسللوا داخل سيناء، ممكن اعاده احياء الارهاب تاني، يكونوا بقى جماعات. ما هو اصلا مش كل الفلسطينيين كويسين ولا وحشين، صح؟ الفلسطينيين زي ما فيهم كويسين فيهم وحشين، فيهم ممكن يكون ناس مش حابه المصريين او مش حابه الجيش المصري، فيقول لك هنقتل في الجيش المصري زي ما بتوع داعش كانوا شغالين، نقتل في الجيش المصري عشان يحارب اسرائيل مثلا. بلاش السيناريو ده، وانا بحذر الاخوه الفلسطينيين منه، وبحذر المصريين والحكومه المصريه من السيناريو ده. خلي بالكوا ده سيناريو بيتنفذ على ارض الواقع وهيتنفذ في خلال الساعات القادمه، لان ببساطه جدا الفلسطينيين ما لهمش اي ملجا تاني غير الحدود المصريه. شوف الدنيا تمشي ازاي. يا رب اكون شرحت لحضرتك الموضوع بشكل مبسط، ويا رب نصر مصر.
Okay, yeah, so it's very good points by Brother Muhammad from Summary, Egypt. I have to beg to differ on your last points that you've made with regards to the intentions, obviously moving the Gazan people, Palestinians, into Sinai to settle there permanently. It's a plan that they have, obviously, to push the Palestinians towards Egypt, and then, of course, they would have a preemptive strike on Egypt as a way of self-defense, because they will say we are under threat from Hamas or any other group that might sort of grow in that region, and it will give them that reason to then expand even further than Gaza and to go into Egypt. And that's their plan, is ultimately to expand their territories into Egypt and claim it as part of Israel, or the greater Israel. It's been their plan for the past 75 years, if not more, and that's been their intention. So yeah, they do want to drag Egypt into a war, a full-scale war, eventually at some point, but obviously they are trying to wipe out the native citizens and the native people of the land of Palestine. However, I would like to make also one point clear. The Palestinians do not want to leave Palestine. They have ample opportunities at some points in their life to leave, to go abroad. Only very few would accept such invitation. Very few of the Palestinians, very few people that are under occupation of the Israelis and under the oppression and under this particular siege in Gaza would actually leave and abandon their post in Gaza. Most Palestinians I spoke to, they're very brave. They prefer to die, and become martyrs than to leave their country. They consider it as an honor to die in the land of Palestine. So they're not going to accept to just abandon their post and allow the Zionists and terrorists to take over. However, I would like to say something. Egypt has a moral obligation to open the borders of Gaza and allow the sick, the elders, the women, the children to move into Egypt. I'm not telling you to let everyone leave Gaza and everyone to enter into Egypt. However, for humanitarian reasons, they should be allowed to get out of Gaza. The ones that are injured, the ones that are sick. Egypt shouldn't cooperate with Israel, in closing the borders and allowing the people to be locked up in a cage and die without food, water, electricity, their basic human rights. And that man that I don't want to even call him a man, that said these are animals, he's the one that's an animal. He's the one that's inhumane. He's the one that's deluded. Whatever state whatever position he holds in a government, clearly he's holding a position in a terrorist organization. For him to call other human beings animals, he's the only animal that is in this world. So unfortunately, that's the mentality of these racist people that rule and occupy the land of Palestine. It's a sad reality. However, we cannot bow down to them, and we cannot obey them. You should not obey these people by closing the borders. You should open up the borders and welcome the brothers. Yes, it's true that Palestinians and Egyptians are one. Just like we're all one. We're all humans. We're all brothers and sisters. And the Gazan people are actually originally Egyptian. The vast majority of them are actually Egyptians that settled in that region as well. And they intermarried with the Palestinians. And so they also belong in Egypt. There's as the Egyptians, and like I said in previous podcasts, no one's pure Egyptian or pure anything. We're all mixed. We have so many ethnicities in us, and we're all related to each other. We're all one big family. So no one has the right to kill anyone, or invade anyone, or occupy anyone else's home. Should respect our boundaries. So yeah, it's an unfortunate case what's going on at the moment, and that's the point that I just want to make. It's not just a matter of if you allow them into Sinai, the day will take over and they'll settle there, and then terrorists will start building cells and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, the Daesh and ISIS and all these organizations that did attack Egyptian military or military posts in the past, they weren't anything to do with Islam, nor were they affiliated with Palestine in any way. These were terrorists. They were funded by the Zionists. They were established and weaponized by the Zionists, the same enemy that's now an ally to Egypt and in a peace treaty. They're attacking Egypt in a covert way. You have to be aware of it. And they're the ones who are funding these terrorist groups to cause chaos and destruction on your borders. So it's very clear it's them. So it's not the Palestinians that are doing this. It's not the Palestinians that are carrying out these terrorist acts in Egypt. It's not them at all. It's foreigners, state-sponsored terrorists that are going into Egypt, attacking Egyptians, causing all this kind of terror, because there's no place in Islam for terrorism. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It tells you very clearly that you cannot kill civilians, even if you're in a combat situation between two armies. You cannot attack a target if there is even a tiny percent, even 1%, that one civilian will get injured. You cannot harm, you can't even hit a target if there's animals will get injured. Or you can't even, poison water or cut down trees or destroy the environment. In essence, you can't do anything. You have to, you can only attack them on very close proximity, and you have to guarantee that the only person that you are going to combat with is basically the person that's attacking you. So if someone's not attacking you, you have no right to take their life or fight them. And if they stop fighting, then you have to stop. You can't be the aggressor, and you can't be the starter of war. There's so many limitations, so many constraints on the Muslims when they're in combat. But the other side don't have any restrictions and constraints. They can do whatever they want because they have no boundaries. They're not abide by any divine rules. So it's different. The rules of the games are different for us. We have to always look for a peaceful resolution. Violence is the last resort, which we shouldn't even get there. We should resolve everything before we get to that stage where, the only way is to fight. This should be something that shouldn't even be on the table as an option. War shouldn't even be an option on the table. We should be mature and resolve our differences in a very peaceful way without harming anyone. And so that's just the point I just want to make. My opinion, I could be completely wrong, but I think this could potentially be a false flag operation to orchestrate all the nonsense that's going on today with the conflict and attacking innocent people and carpet bombing Gaza in such a way, merciless way, inhumane way. That's the only thing that does make sense, is this could potentially be a false flag operation. And they're used to it. They've done the 9/11 in America. So surely they can invent and orchestrate their own false flag operation. If they're the ones who killed innocent Americans, the Zionists are behind it. They were seen celebrating, and they got arrested, and then they got released and deported back to Israel after they carried out the 9/11 attack and blamed it on Muslims and Al-Qaeda, who were not capable to do anything. Of course, their agenda, Al-Qaeda's agenda, again, is incorrect, because there's no justification to kill any innocent civilians, irrespective of what the Americans have done and killed innocent civilians. You cannot retaliate in the same way. You cannot, like I said before, there's rules of engagement in Islam. You cannot harm anyone that hasn't harmed you. You cannot kill civilians or even chop down trees, or you can't even attack the environment of your enemy. You can't attack even the trees and gardens. You can't do all these things. You can't poison water, which could harm innocent civilians or animals, or these chemical weapons and all that stuff. It's not even allowed in Islam. It's forbidden. It's haram in Islam to do such things. Nuclear weapons and stuff, but it's harming a mass group of people. It's not allowed. They do it, but we can't do it. Israel drops white phosphorus, which is illegal, and yet they do it because they have no limits, they have no boundaries. They're not following any divine rules. They're acting on behalf of Satan. They work for Iblis. They're shayateen. They're less than animals. I can't even call them animals. I'll be insulting the animals. If I call the Zionist animals, like this guy called the Palestinians animals, I'll be insulting the animals. The animals have more honor, more dignity, more respect than those Zionists. They're not just subhuman, they're even less than scum. They're trash. They're demonic beings. They will be in hellfire for eternity unless those of them that repent and turn back to Allah and submit their will to Allah. Otherwise, they'll be in hellfire for eternity. They will never smell the fragrance of paradise. They'll be there forever with their crony demonic friends. And Iblis himself, he will be their companion in hellfire, roasting like a pig. So wake up before it's too late. You don't want to be amongst them. Even if you're a Zionist today, you can change. Doesn't matter. You don't. It's not like culturally you're permanently a Zionist. You can change. If you grew up in the wrong ideology, being brain trashed for 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life, you can still change. If you're still alive, you can still change. You can wake up and find out the facts and the history and the reality of the world, and unite with the good people and be amongst those who will go to paradise. Don't be amongst the losers that are going to be in hellfire for eternity. So yeah, definitely this is something I just want to make a point of. And yeah, Brother Muhammad, Barakallah Feek, thank you very much for this summary news that you create frequently. I really appreciate what you're doing, and the contribution that you're making. I'm learning from you quite a lot every day, from your channel and from your content, and I highly recommend anyone else that they can produce some really good content like this. Even if you can't, even if you can just sit in front of a camera and just give your opinion, we love to hear your opinion. If something positive, just say it, share it with the world, share your knowledge, whatever it is, just share it. So I do encourage everyone to do anything at all. And anything worth doing is worth doing wrong in the beginning. I'm very much not an expert. I do very amateur live streams. It's not really edited or cut. It's just I just go with the flow. I say whatever I want to say, whatever I feel is right, I say it. You could do the same. Try not to offend anyone, of course, but yeah, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes I say something because I'm very passionate. I feel the pain for the Palestinians. I have many Palestinian friends. I'm concerned about their health and safety and everything, and some of them are actually injured. I know one journalist that got shot in the leg. He was just a journalist, and he was presenting the news in Gaza in front of a camera, and one of the snipers on the towers just shot him in the leg for absolutely no reason, just for entertainment. I know many people in Gaza that are suffering, sick people that have injuries, and they're suffering from injuries, and some that have disease, and they're very old age. They can't seek medical stuff. They need their medicine. They need to go to hospital. Cancer patients, and they can't get treatment. They can't even go to Egypt to get treatment because the borders are closed. And the Egyptians are supposed to be our brothers in humanity. You know, the Egyptians are supposed to be brothers to the Palestinians, like Brother Muhammad said. But unfortunately, the reality is they're being blockaded from all ends. There's nothing. Because unfortunately, the Egyptian authority listens to the Israeli authority, because there's a peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. So when Israel says to them, don't let them eat, they listen to Israel. And of course, some people, they disobey the order, and then they get themselves in trouble because they're not listening to the orders of their master. Of course, you know, the senior officer will tell them, don't open the gate, and that soldier, of course, will be empathetic and towards the Palestinians, his own brother and sister. He sees them starving to death, thirsty, and he might break the rules. He disobeys the order. That's the only way that food goes in. That's the only way that water comes in. They recycle undrinkable water to make it drinkable. These people are really honorable people. They are heroes. The Palestinian people are, if not number one, but in there at the very high level, amongst the most resilient, persevering people. They're the best example of entrepreneurs. These people, honestly, if they have the opportunity that some of us here in the West have, they will be the most successful entrepreneurs, because they have the ability to persevere so much for a cause. And many people here in the West, they're so lazy. They're so much in their comfort zone, so much in their luxuries. They do absolutely nothing. They have no vision, no goal in life. But the Palestinians, they're fighting for a real cause. They don't have time to waste watching, camera al-khafiyya and cartoons on TV and wasting their life away. They invest every single drop of water. They invest every single second they have of their life on a cause. Education. Sharing the message. Letting the world be aware of their struggles. And for us here in the West, we forgot the Palestinian cause. We completely forgot them. We turn the channel. We forget them. This is a sad reality. And at most I see is people just say, oh, we'll just pray for them. Allah didn't ask you just to pray. He asked you for action. Allah didn't say our religion is we have to supplicate 5 times a day only. He said we have to pray 5 times a day. It's a physical movement. We have to bow down to Allah. We have to do action. We have to, there's things that we need to do. Physical movement. It's exercise. It's like you do a diet and you do exercise. You have to move your body. That's your form of exercise. If you want to get healthy, you have to do exercise, right? It's not like you just sleep and then somehow you'll grow a 6-pack and big biceps by just sleeping. You have to do something physical, and you have to take action. Everything in life, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and things will just come to you. But unfortunately, here in the West, people are so lazy. The laziest kind of people. And I grew up amongst the most laziest losers in the West. And to somehow create a distance in order for me to progress and do something with my life, because I realized that I'm different than them. They're very complacent and lazy and laid back, but we need to do something. We need to be the beacon of light for others. This is what our purpose of life is, to be servants, to serve others, to give. So we have to be strong to take action. We have to be good in good health and strong so we can serve Allah and serve others. Stand up for truth, fight for justice. So this is our purpose. So I'm asking you now, wake up, do something with your life. If you're a lazy person, instead of sitting there watching TV, even watching me or watching anyone, watch to educate yourself, learn about what's going on in current affairs, politics, economics. No doubt, this is useful stuff. Learn about these things. But eventually make a plan. Find your goal in life and work towards it. Never give up on your dream. Just keep going. But don't forget the Palestinians. Don't forget about all the other Muslims and all the other human beings that are suffering all over the world. They also need you. We need to be more proactive. And you can't do things for your selfish gains. It's not about just throw a couple of pounds to charities, because these charities, that's what all they want from you. They want you to just donate money. And that money, big percentage of it, if not all of it, will go to finance the trustees. That's what they want you. They want you they want the easy way. Like, okay, just pay a few pounds to this charity and yeah, we'll take care of it. Of course, they'll take care of it. They'll make it disappear, okay? They'll go buy a new car. They'll go finance and borrow money from the bank to put a deposit on a new house. That's what most of the trustees do. And they do it under the name of Islam. They do it under the name of religion. Because they know that Muslims are kind-hearted and they see all these people struggling and they abuse that. They take that and they take that as a way to, build a case and build a business around it. It's an income stream for most of the charities. That's the sad reality of it. But you need to do action. We need to all unite. We need to all cooperate to build something for the Palestinians, to do something for the Syrians, to do something for all the other Muslims that are suffering. And I'm emphasizing the Muslims because they're the people at the bottom. These are the people that the world has forgotten. They forgot the Muslims. If you're Ukrainians, you're very lucky because the whole world will welcome you. You come to the UK, you're welcome. You get British citizenship, here you go. Here's a house and we'll pay you money. We'll do whatever. If you're black, if you're a Muslim, then you don't have no value to live according to them. Of course you have value because Allah gave you value and He created all of us equal. So we're all equal in the sight of Allah. We're all equal in the sight of God. It's the same. But I'm talking about the Westerners and the Europeans and the Americans. They don't welcome you. If you've got the wrong skin color, they don't welcome you. If you believe in a creator. If you believe in Satan, you're welcome. We like the Satanists. If you have this woke mentality and you have this weird kind of thing, if you're as sick as they are, if you're like minor attracted adults, like they say, and all that stuff, they want LQ, bleak, I don't know, whatever nonsense they come up with every time, every day they come up with a new gender and all that woke stuff, crazy stuff. Then they welcome you for that because that's what they want to preach. That's what they want to push in the world. If they want to be like that, but don't push it on us. We have our way of life, you have your way of life. And that's it. But don't impose it on others. At least respect us as human beings. And we respect you as human beings. You have your way of life, I have my way of life. You have your religion, I have my religion. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm not going to interfere in your way of life. You don't interfere in my way of life. Respect each other. We're still family, like I said. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up here. There was another video that I wanted to react on, but yeah, I think this is about enough. This was very good. And Mohammed, just a point about the Egyptian intelligence being called traitors and stuff. He clarified that point during his presentation during the video, and he said it's not true. Egypt was simply saying to the Israeli counterparty that you need to be careful, that you shouldn't ignore Gaza and pay attention to this because this place is going to explode. And I gave them general warnings. Basically, they didn't tell them specifically that Hamas was trying to do this mass attack and all that stuff. They didn't give them that detail, and they didn't know anything about it. It was kind of what he's saying is that it was a surprise to everyone in general. And Netanyahu office, they denied that Egyptians gave them any sort of intel they could have acted on, and had they received it, they would have acted on it immediately. So they didn't receive any intel from anyone. So yeah, he denied it. And even if he did, he would still deny it. That's just not enough evidence, of course. But they did deny it, unless there's proof of some intel was given to him, and he ignored it. Then obviously he's a traitor to his people, that he didn't protect his own citizens and so on. So then they will judge him on it, and they will find out in their own way if this is true or not. And I'm sure it will come out eventually. But for now, I'm just going to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to go to sleep. I've got an early morning tomorrow, and I believe there's also an investor meeting. There's an investor event I need to check out if it is tomorrow. And I might show my face. I haven't been attending investor meetings for some time, but I'm trying to get back into the investment scenes and stuff like that. So I will start attending again, inshallah. And yeah, I'll try to react on a different video again. I'll try to squeeze something out once in a while. I'll try to do maybe something tomorrow if I've got a bit of time. Or yeah, but now I'm a bit tired. Even my speech is kind of messed up. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this reaction video. My points, I hope I didn't offend anyone. If you want to give me some feedback, constructive criticism is very welcome. I welcome all constructive criticism. In fact, I prefer feedback than people that tell me it's all going great, you're good, whatever. I don't want praise. I want constructive criticism, because that's the way I grow. That's the way I learn new things. Some people do reach out in different channels, and they tell me, I agree with you in this and I disagree with that. I respect them more, because I like people that teach me and tell me stuff, like pick up on any mistakes that I've made or any misinformation that I might have given out. Then if they can correct me, I can learn. And sometimes it could be unintentional, of course, because I might not be aware. The limited information I have, I give it out straight away, and I speak from my heart. So yeah, if you do have any contradicting information in what I'm sharing, please give it to me, let me know, and then I can change my stance. But other than that, I doubt it very much, because I have done my own little research on the matter. So I'm kind of convinced already, but I do listen. I do listen to alternative ideas and opinions, and I respect it quite a lot as well. I like that dialogue. So yeah, do give me some constructive criticism, how we can improve the channel together. This channel is your channel as much as it's my channel, and it's for the good of everyone, inshallah, God willing. Okay, bye for now, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care. Bye bye.